Welcome back to the Popcorn Perspective. It's your host Jay and AK. Today it's Only Murders in the Building, Season 4, Episode 5, Adaptation. AK, how was this episode?
I feel like I'm broken record at this point. I feel like every episode I'm saying, "Man, this is better than the last. This is better than the last. This is better than the last." We're gonna break it down kind of more organized than usual. We're gonna go ahead and just talk about the facts that we know about the suspect. We're gonna talk about who our two top suspects are, and then our final theories based on the episode 5 cliffhanger. So, Jay, what facts do we know about who killed Sass?
Okay, so this episode really felt like they were trying to lay everything out for us theory crafters. And we got this entire scene with the new character Marshall where Charles is going over everything. I love that little scene of his where he's kind of going through his dream scenario of how it happened. But yeah, a 12-minute window between the time Saz was shot, someone came from the west side or east side, all the way to
East
where
side.
yeah, east side to all the way where Charles and they them live,
Mm-hmm.
and they cleaned it up, disposed of her body, all in 12 minutes. And that part seems really hard to believe.
12 minutes is kind of a short window of time to dispose of a body, get down to the incinerator, burn the body, clean the mess, and escape outside the hotel with no notice. It seems kind of impossible. Now, I know they were mentioning throughout the episode that there might be an extremely fit person that they needed to make that journey across the courtyard and towards Charles' building to carry Sass
Christmas
down.
dude,
I mean,
he
we
is
know he is
fit.
buff. He is very fit. Who's another fit guy that we were introduced to this episode?
Loretta's co-worker.
Yeah, Jack Jonk, right? Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so Jack Jonk is Loretta's secret arm around her in every picture on Instagram. He is the love interest, potential love interest for the film that they're filming, or the TV show they're filming. And he's an overly strong, buff, very ugly guy. You could just tell based on the photos he's an asshole. I'm not jealous or
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah,
ugly.
yeah. This weak ass guy is not jealous, but no, but yeah, this guy apparently he's a Olympic winner. He's an actor. He's apparently slept with everybody he's ever worked with. So that's another strong guy. So we have two strong buff people already introduced 5 episodes in. What other facts do we know of?
Yeah, so Marshall, the writer, he has 2010 vision, which kind of comes off just very innocently. I don't think it's so innocent, but
It's a very specific or very unique vision set to have, right?
yeah, very, very, very good eyesight. And then we also have the Saz writing tap in that we got a few episodes back.
Hmm. Yeah, what is she? I'm still not sure if she is referring to a Charles things like tap in, like it's your turn to come in to play. Is that devil mean that she's not dead and she's saying, "Hey, I want you to take over the investigation to protect myself"? Is it as clear and cut dry? I feel like the show has never been clear and cut dry, which is why I'm still on my idea that she's alive. But we'll see. And then obviously we still had the whole dude enough place. Is that a dead end? Do you think those hints were cleared up last episode, or do you think that mystery is still building up?
Yeah, we still got the Juno face. We still got all the primary suspects we had
Hmm.
living on that side. Um, we didn't get anything this episode with them.
No,
Yeah.
so I think that's still question mark. I'll still put a pin like a question mark on the dude enough place and everybody on that side of the building.
Hmm.
And then obviously we get this continuation of Ham. All we didn't get much Ham this episode, but all 4 episodes past we had the ham radio, the pig, the
Hmm.
bathroom ham. So that's still something. And one another thing that I know you mentioned was the main theme of the season. What is the main theme of the season?
Yes, the main theme of the season also ties in with Tap In is a double role of sorts, or two people mimicking the same thing or person.
Hmm.
This episode, we get triple mimicry, so to say. Uh, we get not only our original cast of Only Murders in the Building, but we get the new actors who are going to play them in the movie, and we get their stunt doubles who have been slated. So it's three people playing the same person.
Hmm. And we also get more interactions with the other duo in this uh, show that we really haven't had much time to build up with, but the brother and sister, uh, are they the filmographers? What
The
role do they?
directors, right?
Are they the directors, the brothers and
Yeah,
sisters?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so we had more of them, and they seem to have a third person working with them. I don't think the third person was ever named, but it seems to be three of them. I feel like maybe they just look alike. Where I just maybe I'm getting thrown off. I feel like there's a third person there that they show briefly. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but what other facts do we know of?
Yeah, we have Saz's murder board, or not murder board, Saz's information board from her apartment. And yeah, there were
Yes.
quite a few interesting things from there. And it also seemed like she was working on a script, or she had received a script where she would have had to play a role of. And
Hmm.
that's just pretty interesting to note, right? That she had a lot of
Hmm.
scripts. Maybe she was trying to get out of being a stunt double and maybe getting into writing. Maybe that was her leading herself to
Okay,
getting away or breaking free from being a stunt double.
so you think the whole, I guess, revelation from last week's episode that she want her paradise was to open up that stunt double training ground, that stunt training ground? Do you think that was her previous dream, but she had bigger ambitions and to become either a writer or producer?
I agree. Yeah, I think she probably also had one dream, which was creating the paradise for aspiring um, stunt
Stunt actors,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, and I do also have a feeling that she may have wanted to get into writing.
Okay. Uh, and
I
we
don't
do
think she
know,
wanted
I
to leave
mean,
the industry completely. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, and we do know Saz. I mean, based on the script that what's the scriptwriter's name? Marshall, right?
Marshall. Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote the characters very accurately while they were reading their scripts. They were very, very accurate, and the only person outside of the trio who would have an idea of how each three people would think would be Sass, and she was there for two of the murderers. She saw, I think, season one and season three. She was there briefly when they were discussing the murder, so she has an idea of how all three of them discusses and talks about it. So she could be onto something. She could be writing a script based on that, and it was taken from her or something along those lines. But we can
Hmm.
always get down to that theory crafting side. But Wood was also found at her paradise at the training grounds, a loaded gun. That's what we discussed in last week's episode, the big cliffhanger. That was probably my biggest issue I had with this episode, is I felt like that kind of didn't lead anywhere. I was kind of hoping we get a bigger payoff versus the producer who's just swinging a gun randomly, saying that she is scared that somebody in the show production is the suspect. What was your take on all that?
Yeah. I will say, producer lady is she's a fun character,
Yes.
very eccentric, and there was also another scene where she pulled Selena Gomez's character to the side and was trying to hype her up to create something new.
Hmm.
It came off a little weird, but I don't hang out with
It's
producer people,
Hollywood
so
though, so Hollywood is a little weird. So it could be
yeah,
just, I don't know. I'm with you on that. That whole discussion between her and Selena's character, Mabel, which is very weird.
yeah. I thought Mabel was gonna use Howard's whole animal talks or
I
whatever
thought so
podcast.
too. I thought so too, and I was like, if he wasn't
I would have
if
come
he's
in
not the
and like, what
suspect
the hell?
here, yeah, he wasn't the suspect here. He's 100% the suspect next season. He's no, yes, that was interesting. Now Molly Shannon, she just kills it. She's hilarious, and
Yeah,
just has that charisma, that on-screen charisma. So I love seeing her in the
yeah.
show, but I want more meat on what was going on with the loaded gun. I kind of feel like it was a drop plot point. You don't find a gun loaded at an abandoned theme park or abandoned grounds. Like it's a very odd thing to just come across, right?
This season they've been tying up things so well.
Hmm.
I feel we'll get an answer.
Okay.
The
Okay.
writing has been so good this season, man.
It
I
has
have
been amazing.
really enjoyed this season. It's on par to be the best season of the series.
What's currently your best season or your favorite season?
Two, probably.
That's my favorite.
One
Yeah,
or
season
two.
two.
One was such a lightning in the bottle, so I loved it. I love it.
Yeah,
Um, but
we mentioned the 12-minute window, the extremely fit person, Jack Jonk, the gun, the ham, the triple theme or duality theme, tap in. Um, Now, how did the episode end though?
yes, another cliffhanger, just like the
Yeah,
episode before.
and another
And
cliffhanger regarding a gun.
this time we actually hear shots.
Yes, multiple shots. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what happens is they were doing a photo shoot and they had all three triplets, I guess you can say it, the actor, the real person, and then the stunt double, and they're doing promotional shots for the movie. And while who it was who all who three was on there? It was Zach Galifianakis, right? And Oliver Putman and Glenn Stuckman, right?
Glenn. Yeah,
Yeah. So those three were
Ben.
standing.
Ben.
Ben's stunt
Ben
double guy.
Stubbins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ben Stubbins. There you go. Yeah.
yeah.
So all three of them were in the photo shoot, and then and then Charles and Mabel realizes the shoe print from the brothers, the directors, matches the footprint that was at the Dunanoff place right when the gunshots happened. So
Hmm.
it's kind of very coincidental that the moment they identify a potential suspect, shots
We hear
fire and everyone
gunshots.
clears the
Yeah.
building. Yeah. Um, what was your take on the cliffhanger?
Yeah, it was really interesting because everything starts culminating right at that climax point, and we get Charles and Selena Gomez's character Mabel rushing in, and they're like, "Where's the director? Where's the director?" And then that's when it was so good, and I cannot wait for the next episode.
Yeah, they definitely know how to keep you invested, engaged. So I think that's for the most part all of the facts that we know so far leading into
Yeah.
episode six. Now both of us have our number one suspects or number two suspects, and I'm gonna go ahead and just name my number one suspect. I'm still on the Scott Bakula bandwagon. Um, I know we haven't seen him since episode one, and it was only a brief 1 minute discussion, but well, Jay actually he was rewatching season one, and he let me know a very interesting thing that Bart Scott backed him on number one suspect, and that was who. If you rewatch episode one when they go back to the coffee shop during the first murder, um, Oliver mentions that Charles looks like Scott Bakula, which is a very odd thing. If they mention he looks like somebody for that guy to make an appearance 4 seasons
Hmm. I
later,
can see that.
uh, with the stunt double of Charles playing him. So it's a very weird mix of things, and it's unique. You really don't mention an actor from like a season one, and then somehow convince that actor to play himself in season four, five, six, whatever. It was just very weird, and it's a very interesting thing. And then on top of that, I just everything I've said from the last few episodes. You can watch the podcast. It just he seems very interesting of a character to pin at. But who is your number one suspect?
Okay, so for me, again, the show is so good at red herrings, and I've been wrong every freaking season. So I'm probably going to be wrong again. It's Marshall, the new
Hmm,
character
the
we get,
writer.
the writer. Now, again, we are actually looking at two or three potential people who've committed this, right? But right now, I'm leaning as Marshall be involved in some way. Maybe he's the motive because we still don't understand the motive on why Saz or Charles were being targeted. So Marshall has amazing eyesight, and a sniper would need good eyesight. Also, he has a fake beard, and I know he gave this sob story. Oh, I my I can't grow facial hair, and I should look like a writer kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It and also his script. How is he nailing these characters so well? If he only heard their podcast, so those are the things that leading me towards him.
I like that, and yeah, I mean, we only had him for like maybe 2 minutes in episode one, and we haven't seen him since. And this episode, he became a nobody character to a very interesting character.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I think my number two suspect would probably be the brothers, the directors, the two sisters, or is it three? I feel like there's three, but I could just be completely off my rockers, and there's only two.
it's one of my
Um,
theories.
yeah, but no, the whole so what happens is they lay these sticky traps all over the floor during the photo shoot. Because apparently Eva Longoria sells these sticky traps, so they were kind of promoting her business as a way to see whose footprint matches the footprint in Good Enough Place. And the footprint that matches is the brothers, the sisters, whatever. And
They
it's
intentionally did that
oh,
to
100%,
mess with us.
100%. And it's a very interesting thing because they are, first off, they are duos. They work together. They're in pairs always. So it would make sense if one was to
And
snipe, the other would be in cleanup.
in the episode, remember, they don't. They just look at each other and they know what they're thinking. Freaky.
Yeah. Now, now I know you and I mentioned last couple of weeks. The show likes to pin all the blame on somebody, only for it not
Yeah,
to be them.
yeah.
And they did have that whole scene where, like, say the brothers were the ones who shot. They had Sister One at the Charles' door, Sister Two at the window. So the fact that they actually showed all that makes me think maybe not, but they seem just very sus overall. They
Hmm.
seem very antisocial. They don't really talk much. They always paired up together. So I don't know. But who's your number two?
I don't have a number two, and I'm just gonna regurgitate my theory that either Dudenoff or the person living in Dudenov's apartment was Saz. The reason being, if she was trying to write a story over our trio, that is a really good vantage point of looking at them, keeping an eye on them, seeing where they're going, seeing what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. So yeah, my second suspect is just a regurgitated on my theory.
Doing enough for sass. I mean, it's a good theory. But I think that needs, I think, more time to develop. I think we need to get, yeah, more do enough, I guess, info.
Yes, agreed.
Now, I definitely do believe that Sass is the person who introduced the house guest to the card game Oh Hell,
Oh yeah,
because yeah, because we do know she also introduced Charles to the actors,
poker
and they
game.
had a poker
Yep,
nights. So
yep, yep.
that makes
I
sense. If
like
she
that.
introduced them, they might think that's Dudenoff, and they might be calling her Dudenoff the whole time. So your theory does have a lot of validation to it, but it needs
Hmm.
time to cook.
Yep.
Um, so now I guess we can focus on the last clip, the final cliffhanger. Like I mentioned earlier, the cliffhanger of this episode was a gunshot during the photo shoot. Who shot the
Hmm.
gun? Who do you think shot the gun? Let's listen to you first.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we've been dropping hints about, do we actually know it's two sisters or could it be more? I want to say we have a mysterious third brother, sister, family member. So since they're mirrors and we have triple people playing the same person, it kind of
Hmm.
lends credence to that. Also, I'm gonna go a step further and say I think Ben is the one that gets shot, thinking it's Oliver. Maybe Oliver was the target this time.
Oh, so you think Gilroy, or the stunt double, Paul White stunt double, you think he. Oh, that could be an interesting. And it'd be kind of sad because we were just introduced to him only for him to get killed off, or potentially killed off.
I know.
That'd be interesting. Huh, I could see that, and if there is a third brother, it would make perfect sense if that's like the biggest like twist is there's three people working on this crime, not just two. Which would,
Hmm.
and like we start off the season with duality, only for it to be merged into trios. I don't know what the plurality of trios is, but duality and triality, or whatever.
I'm not smart enough. I don't know.
My number one suspect is who shot three times at Sass's Paradise. We opened the episode with Molly Shannon's character Bev Mellon, and claimed she found a gun lying in Sass's place inside the studio, and she picks it up and she shoots into the air three to four times, and she's like, "Oh, it's not loaded." Bam, bam, bam. Obviously, it's loaded. It's a very dumb thing for somebody to do. Whether you know it's loaded or not, you don't click the trigger. That's like gun safety number one. You don't click the trigger unless you have a target. And she shot the sky three, four times. So we know she has a tendency of shooting randomly and not actually doing her due diligence on checking. And this episode ends with three to four shots being shot in the crowd randomly. I'm just saying, who's the only person we know who shot a gun so far this season? It's the producer. So I,
the
I, I would
person
say
the person who killed Saz.
no. I just think the cliffhanger. I mean, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. But I think it might be. I think Bev Mellon is the one who shot the gun at the end of the cliffhanger,
Okay.
basically repeating what she did in the beginning of this episode. But
Yeah.
I don't think she is the ultimate killer. I think it's
Okay.
just a red herring. Yeah. Any last thoughts though on your end?
Yeah. If you have any theories, definitely put in our comments, and we will shout you out because
Yeah.
AK and I need help.
This show it's running me in circles. Every time I feel like I have an idea, it just throws out the window and say, "No, here's 10 reasons why you're wrong." And I was like, Uh, brilliant episode. I love the callback of season one outfits. That was cool and fun to see. But outside of that, I'm looking forward to episode 6.
Yeah, same. I am super psyched. And if you are Middle Earth fans, we've been doing Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Season 2 has really been picking up, and the last two
Hmm.
episodes are coming out. Definitely go give those videos a check out.
Yeah, can't wait to see the Battle of Eregion. That's going to be hopefully good. We'll see if it pays off. And then,
As long
and
as
I'm
it's not in
also
pitch darkness.
now. I hope it's just pitch black. I always see the right of the eyes.
Oh, wow. The Battle of Winterfell. Nice.
Oh
Nice.
God. But I'm also reacting, not reacting, but reviewing Agatha All Along. I know Jay is hoping to join me here soon. That started up, and also the Penguin, HBO Max's Penguin, following the Batman series. That started last week, and I'm hoping to start doing videos on that here soon. So let us know down below if there's any other shows or movies that you want us to talk about. But yeah, outside of that, I have
Note
nothing
of the
else.
day. If you want to have a good laugh, go watch Benedict Cumberbatch say Penguin. It is the funniest thing ever.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put
Go
that on
check
my
it out.
notes for me to watch. All right, you guys. See you guys.
All right. Take care. Peace.
All right. 25 minutes with the first minute being a reboot, so
Yeah.
about 24 minutes. That's not too bad.
Honestly, these videos, people have been